My name is Eric, known on the internet as tubbyemu, and without further ado, after all my early access coverage, it's time to present you my top 10 list of new features or gameplay additions in WWE 2K17. Coming in at number 10 is actually the roster. Now, I know what you're saying. The games every year update, but here's the thing. WWE 2K17 went out of its way to include in people I didn't think would be possible to get in the game. People like Samoa Joe, or, more specifically, Shinsuke Nakamura. They were able to make it happen, and you have one of the most extensive rosters for NXT. Now, they can build on it for next year, and there's still a long way to go, but I applaud the team for not just focusing on past Hall of Famers, legends, or superstars, and focusing on the future. Coming in at number 9 is the addition of split screens and new camera angles while ringside in 1-versus-1 matches. One of my big criticisms of past games was that long, drawn-out arena camera that you really couldn't get a feel for. You'd be running up the ramp, and then all of a sudden that camera would pan out and take you out of the action. Now with more zoomed-in camera angles in these 1-versus-1 matches, it provides the gameplay a much more realistic feel. It almost feels like there's a camera guy there. Well, that's also one of the things I've always wanted in a game, and hopefully in the future. But these camera angles make it look like you're there, a part of the action, and it's unique to the experience. I would have probably put this higher on the list if the rest of the list wasn't so action-packed. Look for more of this in series, machinima, and other content that will be coming to my channel. Because this feature, bam! Referee DLC packs. I've been calling for that since WWE SVR 2011. This year, for the first time, we have more than one referee to choose from. You can choose from old school referees, Japanese referees, new referees, or WCW referees. From John Cone, looks like Jimmy Corderas, Jason Ayers, to others. Providing you with more referees gives you a better experience and overall more unique one. Coming in at number 7 is the addition of not only creative victory, but post-match breakouts instead of just beforehand. When you break out before a match, titles stay and it feels more realistic. Post-match, you can go and beat down your opponents and do whatever you want. You usually have about 80% of your bar, have to do a couple moves, and then you can lay out your opponent with that finisher. Not only can you break out, but you can unexpectedly get attacked by somebody running out to ring. Triple H randomly came out and attacked Hideo Itami and took him down. For what purpose? We are in exhibition, we are not even in universe mode. It provides a more unique experience, and well, it could be seemingly random. It is something that makes it fresh. Coming in at number 6 was a feature I was very worried about. Going back to WWE 12, 13, and 2K14, one of my favorite things to do was set up spot fests. Put ladders wherever the heck I wanted, go through tables, and create some of the most epic spots I possibly could. When they announced that you could only set up a ladder in 1 of 5 spots, and when a ladder was set up in the middle of the ring, it would set up perfectly, I got a little nervous. I'll be honest with you. It was something, well, I better wait and see. Once I played it, I felt like the addition was absolutely amazing. Now, some would argue that in WWE, you would set up a ladder just off of the title, and you wouldn't be able to grab it. However, in past games, it was too easy to get knocked off a ladder and have drawn-out matches that would frustrate even the most experienced of players. I couldn't tell you how many online matches in past games the ladder would constantly tip over, and I would get so frustrated into, can you just pull the title or the briefcase down already? Now that you can go back and forth, grab the title, and still pull it down while being attacked, it provides you some options that are for sure to change the game. Coming in at number 5 is the re-edition of Highlight Reel. Now, I will be honest with you. The fact that you can't hide the panel or watch a full preview without encoding first and degrading the quality is a little bit of a pitfall. However, to be able to use these clips in entrance videos, to be able to use these clips in machinima, and more, I think that far outweighs its downfalls. While not a new feature, hopefully it's a feature they can build on and make it even better in years to come. Coming in at number 4 is something it would have been my top of the list if it would have been the full mode, is create a video and create a cutscene. If you've been a fan of my channel for the longest time, or if you've ever seen a 2K14 story online, you probably have heard my name. 2K14 essentially is what I built my channel on, with stories. I absolutely loved playing creations from the community, and I loved going through stories that you created. When 2K15 stripped out Story Designer, I was devastated. It was a feature that I had grown to know and love, but at the same time, I understood it. The same cutscenes were being used for 10 plus years, and to be honest with you, were drawn out, boring, and you could only run over a monster car so many times. So while we don't have Story Designer back, we at least have creative video. Well, possibly meant more for creating your highlight reel, definitely allows you to make those cutscenes and possibly have a jagged, put together, Story Designer-esque moment or story that you can follow. While not perfect, definitely is a lot better than simming through universe mode trying to get cutscenes. Coming in at number 3 is the addition of save slots in universe mode. I'm a creature of habit, and when I start a universe mode on one, the other one is usually meant just to get cutscenes. Now that we have creative video and cutscenes, we don't have to worry about that. Cutscenes, along with many other improvements inside of universe mode, will make this one of the better years for content creation. The re-addition of pyro, the reorganization of the menus, and while not really adding any new features, so to speak, definitely makes it much more presentable, usable, and efficient. The save slots, though, that's key, and that's probably the one thing that's going to prevent me from forgetting about one console. For the first time in more than a decade, we're finally able to not only fight backstage, but transition from inside the arena as well. While past games on last console, you could fight in the crowd, or you could fight backstage, or in a parking lot, or in hallways, you could never actually transition between the two. This is the first year since Here Comes the Pain and Shut Your Mouth that we're able to transition between the two. Now, the backstage fighting, you are a little bit limited, but to be honest, I am not complaining. You have the authorities office, you have a locker room, a hallway, gorilla, an interview space, and 2 ways to transition to an arena. The waiting times really aren't that long. Usually about 5 to 7 seconds or so, and then boom, you're right in the action fighting backstage. Well, gorilla position, I would have loved to see Vince McMahon there and the desks with all the TVs. This is more than acceptable, and to be honest with you, is going to provide for some epic moments. Had a highlight reel included a free roam camera and the ability to place it where we want, this could have been the best wrestling video game for content creators of all time. Being able to fight backstage in these areas, interview spaces, going back and forth, throwing your opponents against walls, and directional controls makes it feel absolutely phenomenal. At first, I thought we would be super limited, but in the end, it feels amazing. I would have loved to be able to show things walking down the hallway with that free roam camera and highlight reel, but at the end of the day, I can't really complain. If you take a look, they did a great job where the camera angles are on point. It feels like you're there with a camera guy, and the only thing I would love to add in the future are more places to go possibly, a cameraman, personalities that stay backstage, or more interactive environments. This year's backstage is the foundation for a future. Having a strong foundation is key, and WWE 2K17 provides that foundation that was started back in 2K15 when WWE 2K made the decision to go away from an arcade-style game into a realistic, simulation-based game. While I'm not showing off any crowd fighting, I do feel crowd fighting is pretty limited, but at the same time, it's an addition, and it's an addition I will gladly take. While we're still getting used to everything in 2K17 waiting for the game to release, 2K18 has got my hopes sparked really high. And finally, coming in at number 1 is the addition of triple threat match, fatal 4-way, or 6-person ladder match rollouts. I cannot tell you how much I love and enjoy this feature. Being one of the features I've pitched at 2K the last 2 years, the fact that it was added doubles down on the simulation-based style and makes this one of the best games they've made to create moments and highlights within a match. Triple threat matches from the past suffered from one big factor. You would either get up too fast or stay down too long. Now the team at 2K found a way to roll out of the ring, but to still not be able to stay down too long, but a checks and a balance system, so if you got up too early, instead of waiting or timing it at the perfect moment, you would lose stamina. And here's the thing, spots like this provide epic moments. Being able to run in at the key time to either go for a pinfall, to throw somebody out of the ring, or to take advantage is huge. The other thing, when you run in and break up a pin, they tend to stay down. One of the biggest things from the past is after a pin attempt, they would get up too fast. Or if you would break up an attempt, they would both get up. Now if you run in and you break up a pin attempt, the opponent that was getting pinned will stay down. When I was in New York at SummerSlam in a triple threat match, I was able to run in, take somebody out, try to pin them, and then try to repin the person that was originally on the ground, which provided some of the best match moments I think I've ever been a part of. Things like this where you're able to run in, counter with a big move, and roll out, while simultaneously going into the next sequence, is going to provide for some of the best recreations, simulations, and content known to man. Had we been able to pair this up with a highlight reel with a free roam camera, I couldn't even imagine what the creators on YouTube could do. Just imagine right here while they're in the ring, as the camera focuses on the outside as the person pulls themselves up on the apron desperately, holding on, grasping, trying to get up, and then eventually running in. Well, 2K17 hasn't even dropped yet. I can only imagine what 2K18 is going to be like, and 2K17 raises the bar for 2K to unprecedented levels that makes me super excited to pick up my copy of WWE 2K17. I would love to know your list. From everything you've seen, heard, or talked about, what are your favorite additions to the game?